this again. I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but we will talk about this again because I'm not being left with very much hope that things are going to change. I wonder how you have been reacting to our conversation, Lisa. And I know that you've been listening to that. And by the way, that was Tom Wainwright, in case you just tuned in, criminal barrister at Garden Chambers. Lisa Longstaff is from an organisation called Women Against Rape. Good evening to you, Lisa.
Yeah, good evening, Eddie.
Well, we've had this conversation, you and I, over the years many times, and I have hoped that we would be moving forward. And this, in fact, was a good news day, a good news story that things were changing. But after talking to Tom and Sally, I'm not so sure that they are. Are you?
No, and I think, a lot of the things that are being put forward in the Rape Action Plan we've heard before. I think it's pretty scandalous that they're putting out this press release that they're doing everything possible to convict rapists. We're making complaints all the time about what's happening. They're not being taken seriously and dealt with. Nobody's being held to account for work that's done badly. And, your comments are very true. If the evidence isn't gathered and conveyed properly between the police and the CPS and between the CPS barrister and the jury, then obviously, there's a very poor chance that there's going to be a conviction. But that doesn't seem to be ever being dealt with by the people who are responsible for gathering and presenting the evidence.
But Mrs. Saunders says that, she wants renewed efforts to dispel what she calls myths and stereotypes. I mean, these are sounds... We haven't really heard these sounds, or did we hear them from Keir Starmer, the previous Director of Public Prosecutions?
Yeah, well, we did. We heard them from Alison Saunders when she was working with Keir Starmer. In fact, we've just asked for an urgent meeting with Alison Saunders because, how can the police and CPS claim that they're doing everything possible to convict rapists when they are still turning on women? There's one level of just shoddy investigation and not doing anything and disbelief and dismissal, but there's also the police who are pressing women to retract their allegations, and that is widespread. That has been reported to Parliament by a number of whistleblowers in November. That's being investigated. There's also that they are prosecuting women for lying about rape, which also puts loads of women off from reporting because it gets huge media headlines. Some of the women are not guilty of lying. There are some of those cases we've taken up and fought, and they've had to drop the charges because they were wrong, based on wrong misinterpretation of evidence and so on. And, there was a woman just convicted this week of it. What a waste of resources. Why are they putting, hundreds of man-hours into prosecuting women, investigating women for lying, for harassment, for, minor crimes like sex work? Why are they sending women to prison when all these people are getting away with rape on a mass scale? I think it's a scandal.
You've asked the question, Lisa, and we are through the show tonight. We'll see what answers we get. I dare say you and I will speak again. That's Lisa Longstaff from an organisation called Women Against Rape. I'd love to hear your thoughts